everyone, welcome to Club UX. So in this 3-part video series, we are understanding everything about Storyboard. In the first video, we talked about what is Storyboard in UX. We understood it with the help of one example. In the second video, we talked about the 4 major components that make a storyboard. And in this third video, we are actually going to understand how to make a storyboard. Let's quickly brush up our skills and understand what is a storyboard. Storyboard is a visual way of telling stories. Storyboard is a sequence of sketches, images, illustration which makes the scenes planned for a video. Like you can see on the left side of a screen, there is a sequence of different sketches which have been planned. This is something which is an example of storyboard. In UX, there are different kind of visualization tools that a UX designer has to use when they have to communicate a solution. Using different kind of visual impacts add that fun element which brings everyone together and helps a UX designer to communicate as to what they are trying to say. Storyboard in UX is a UX tool which helps in visualizing the user experience with a product or service, and it frames out how people would interact with the product or service, all in the context of the user's environment. Now let's understand what are the 4 major components of a storyboard. First is character. A character is the persona of the target user. Second is user scenario, which describes the stories of a user tied to a persona, which describes the context behind how and why the user comes to your solution. Third is visual. Each scenario is represented visually, which can be in the form of photos, handmade sketches, or illustrations. And number 4 is a caption, which is a heading or a title or words on the screen that communicate what is being said. Before we understand on how to create a storyboard, it's very important that you understand that there is no fixed way as to how to create a storyboard. You can create a storyboard simply on a paper or on a PPT, or if you want to go fancy, then go ahead and make use of any animation tool. Just remember that you are a UX designer, you're not a graphic designer or an animator, and you're not going to get an Oscar out of creating a storyboard. You're just making use of storyboard to communicate your ideas visually. And you can make use of simple sketches or on PPT to make your storyboard and present your ideas. And in fact, you don't really need to be a pro in sketching as well. With this, let's understand what are the 5 major steps to create a storyboard. Here I am taking an example of my storyboard for one of my design projects. I created a storyboard simply on PPT. So the first step that you have to follow is to gather data. So understand the users by carrying out your user research. Also include any existing information gathered previously, so that you get sufficient knowledge of your target user. And that is the reason why I introduced the 4 major components of storyboard. Gathering the data would help you to create your character. So let's move ahead and understand what is the second step. The second step is to define basics. Define your user persona and user scenario. Each scenario presents a single story. My design project revolved around creating a new platform for young content creators so that they can showcase their talent and earn from it. Much like YouTube, but yes, different from it. So I went ahead and conducted my user research. I spoke to some of my friends and I also conducted some online research, and this is how I came up with the persona of Zara. So Zara is a new content creator which is getting frustrated because she's not getting the expected growth from the platform like YouTube. Let me introduce you to the character of Zara. I found this image online, so you can find multiple images online. You don't really have to create it, but just remember that make use of commercially available images. I have my basics ready. I have my character Zara, and the next step is to create a user scenario. So your user scenario is in line with the objective of your design project. That is the solution that you're going to present. So for me, the scenario that I created was Zara is a budding content creator who wants to showcase her talent online and earn from it. Her goal is to get visibility on online platforms and show her talent to the world. Guys, it's very important that you get your basics ready before you move ahead and create a full-fledged storyboard, or it will just confuse you and it will lead you to nowhere. Okay, the next step is to choose your fidelity level. As I just told you that you are a UX designer, you're not a graphic designer or an animator, you're not going to get any Oscar out of it. So take my suggestion and just go ahead and create sketches or just make use of PPT to create your storyboard. There are different visuals that you have to add while creating your storyline, and you can find all these images, icons very easily online. But remember just to use commercial images and icons. You can also find multiple icons if you are using PPT, and if you are sketching, then you don't have to fear for anything. Well, now is the most interesting part. You are going to create your storyline. Now that you have your basics ready, now that you have decided what is going to be the fidelity level of your storyboard, create a storyline. Just provide enough visual detail to include major components. So you know that storyboard is a sequence of images and sketches, and each and every image and sketch should have characters, visuals and captions. There is a simple tip. You can start with a plain text on paper or a PPT that guides you along the way. This is how I created my storyline on paper first, and this is how I came up with my storyboard example. My storyboard is a very effective communication tool and visualization tool which helps the UX designer to present how your solution helped the user in solving their problem. So a very good tip is to add different emotions on the face of the character while you are presenting your storyboard. Adding different emotion as to how the character was feeling when the problem was not getting solved, and how does your solution help the user in solving their problem. By adding different emotions, it would help to create empathy in the mind and heart of the different team members, and would help you to connect the character with your team members. Okay, with this we have reached to the final fifth step, is to gather the feedback. Share storyboard with team members and ask for feedback and iterate on it. And for that reason, I always pressed on creating low fidelity storyboards which would help you to get feedback and iterate on your storyboard. So guys, in this 3-part series, we discussed about what is storyboard, what are the 4 major components of storyboard, and how to create storyboard. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comment section below. You can go and check out our website yukti.io, where you will find a lot of articles on storyboard. Do make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and make sure that you come back for more videos on UX research, storyboard, UI and more.